On today's episode, Champions Week continues with Christopher Mendoza. DJ, hit me. Christopher Mendoza. This is the world's toughest podcast. Welcome to the world's toughest podcast, where we talk about any obstacle course race you'd like, as long as that's world's toughest mudder. Each week we talk to members of the WTM community and share stories of success and failure in the single greatest event in OCR. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the world's toughest podcast. Welcome back to World's Toughest Podcast. My name is Will Hicks. Thank you for listening. You are listening to the number one rated OCR podcast in the world, and I am grateful. Thank you so much. Today, Champions Week continues with Mendoza. Very excited to have Chris back on the show. It's been a long time. We actually talked about this. This is probably the longest period of time since we started the show that we have not had Chris on the podcast. Very excited to have Christopher Mendoza. Yesterday was Atkins and Kolbl. Ryan Atkins and Ray Kolbl, world's toughest mudder champions. Today, Christopher Mendoza. Tomorrow will be your 2016 women's winner, Stephanie Bishop. Thursday will be your 2016 men's winner and toughest mudder Dallas winner, Trevor Cichosz. And Friday is your three-time women's champion from 2012, 2014, and 2015, Amelia Boone. Before we start, you can email me at willhicks@gmail.com. You can follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook by searching for World's Toughest Podcast. And you can be a part of the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Amazon.com. If we get 150 reviews, that's 5 more by the end of Champions Week. This week, we are going to give away some stickers. Who wants a sticker? Leave me a review. And if we get 200 reviews by World's Toughest Mudder this November, I will get some t-shirts made. Every OCR podcast, it feels like, it may not be true, it feels like every OCR podcast except ours has t-shirts. I know Mike and Caitlin have them over at Obscuring Adventures. I've seen Heather Bodie wearing some from Overcome and Run, 2 other great OCR Report podcasts, and I've even seen Jason Dupree over at OCR Talk, not one of our OCR Report podcasts, but still a fine show. He has he has a flag. He has t-shirt. I think he has guitar picks, maybe can koozies. I don't know. He's got lots of, if you like his show, you can get swag for days. So if we get to 200 reviews, I will get some t-shirts made. Tell your friends. Here's a fun fact. If you have downloaded the new iOS 13 for your iPhone, you can leave another review for the show. So you should do that. Check that out. Thank you, Steve Jobs. Actually, probably Tim Cook. Thanks, Tim. What do you think about Champions Week? Let me know. willhicks@gmail.com or in a review on Apple Podcasts would be great. We do Elite Week, which is really 2 weeks of Elite reviews right before World's Toughest Mudder. We've done that in the last 2 years. We'll do that again this year. And we've done Kickoff Week in the past, where we kind of kick off the new season with a episode every day for a week, beginning of the season. And this is the first time we're doing Champions Week. Let me know what you think of Champions Week. Let me know also, hey, if you want to contribute to the show. In fact, you want to earn a sticker? Here's how you earn a sticker. Shoot me an email with an idea for another theme week. And if I use that idea, I will send you a sticker in the mail. willhicks@gmail.com. What other theme weeks should we do? We got Champions, we got Kickoff Week, we got Elite Week. Let me know. willhicks@gmail.com. It's time for a new segment.
OCR movie reviews. Will Hicks reviews the movies so you don't have to. OCR. There's my movie review. Will Hicks reviews the movies so you don't have to. OCR movie reviews. Will Hicks reviews the movies so you don't have to.
Special thanks to Keith Allen for our OCR movie review theme song. How great was that?
5 stars.
Our OCR movie review movie of the week is Mary Poppins Returns, now available on Netflix, iTunes, and your local Blockbuster Video.
What brings you here after all this time?
Same thing that brought me the first time. I've come to look after the bank's children.
Us?
Oh, yes, you too.
Emily Blunt stars as Mary Poppins, the practically perfect in every way nanny descended from on high. There's drama, tears, songs.
Nothing's gone forever, only out of place.
But as I watched the movie, I was disappointed to see there were 0 scenes of OCR action. Over the course of its 130 minutes, there wasn't a single barbed wire crawl, spear throw, or electrocution. I didn't see a single character climb an 8-foot wall, or carry anything heavy up a hill, or in a circle. It may be delightful, but it is a terrible OCR movie. No stars.
OCR movie reviews.
Let's read some iTunes reviews.
5 stars.
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 Our first review comes from Heather from the United States of America. Heather writes, "Love this podcast. 5 stars. Will does a great job informing his listeners about everything World's Toughest Mudder, along with all the other Tough Mudder races. I introduced my friend who just got into OCR, and after listening to a couple episodes, she said she wanted to do WTM. Keep up the good work. 5 stars." Thank you, Heather. I appreciate that. I hope to see you and your friend at Worlds in Atlanta this year. Be sure to find me and say hi. I know I say that. Find me and say hi. And you might think, how do I do that? Atlanta is a big city, and 3,000 people run World's Toughest Mudder every year. Yes, but it's not that big. And there are multiple community events with just a few hundred people all weekend long. I should be at all of them. I was last year, and every one of them is great for a different reason. So if you're trying to look for someone in particular, maybe an elite athlete, maybe you want to find me or someone else that you know is going, you should be able to find them. If they're at one of those events, you should be able to find them. Heather, I hope you and your friend sign up, and I hope you tell me you signed up in person in Atlanta. Well done. Thank you, Heather. If you'd like to be a part of the show like Heather, you can leave a review also. Just open the Purple Podcast app on your iPhone or iOS device, search for World's Toughest Podcast, click our logo, and then scroll down to click Write a Review. And I will read it on a future episode. You can do the exact same thing on Amazon.com if you don't have an iPad. Kris Mendoza is one of the most beloved members of the World's Toughest Mudder community. Kris has run World's Toughest every year since 2014. He finished with 50 miles in his first year. In 2017, he was on the first place relay team. And in 2018, he won his first individual World's Toughest Mudder championship with a dramatic pass of the 2016 winner, Trevor Cichosz, less than a mile from the finish line. Mendoza's win in 2018 was the closest, most dramatic finish in World's Toughest Mudder history. Mendoza is also a doctor working as a dental anesthesiologist near his training grounds in Colorado. It's time to talk with Kris Mendoza. Let's go to the phones. Kris Mendoza, thanks for joining the show.
Wait, is this 5 Star Will?
This
is actually producing a podcast?
This is just
wow.
Regular old Will Hicks.
It's magic.
Is this World's Toughest Mudder champion, Kris Mendoza?
No. This is anesthesiologist Kris Mendoza. During the work week. Completely different person.
I was actually looking for the other one. I don't really have any questions about flossing.
Well, you should do it at least once a day. Brush twice a day. Hashtag Doza for clean teeth.
You know what? I wasn't really going to talk about it, but I flossed early this year, and that string stinks.
Yeah, no. It's especially like when you do it once a year. It's not fun.
So this is the longest we've gone without talking, I think, since I started the podcast a few years ago. What have you been up to since your championship last year?
Wow. Yeah, I guess it has been a while. What have I been up to? Just been running. Been injured for a while. Came back, started running again, and then, quit my job and decided to start my own company. So it's been pretty busy.
Is that a true story, Kris?
Yeah.
Tell me about your new company.
Well, which part of it? It's all true, actually. I'm not lying to you.
So you quit your job as a anesthesiologist?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much doing the same thing. I just left the company I was working for and then ended up kind of just starting my own gig. So, same thing. I'm just traveling to different dental offices, providing anesthesia for different dental providers. And, it's definitely a little bit of a struggle, but it's been good. Definitely going to be better in the long term. So, yeah, that's been awesome.
How has your running and training been?
It definitely it's been taking a little bit of a hit, just with starting a business. As you probably know, it takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of effort. So it's taken a lot of mental energy and just, time away from that. But it's been really good, actually, pretty much since, I would say the end of June. It's really started to pick up. So, I started working with a coach, a running coach, and so, it's just been really consistent training for the last 2 months, and I'm feeling pretty good.
You won World's Toughest Mudder last year. People might look at you and say, obviously he knows how to run. Why would he need a running coach? What are some of the benefits you get from a running coach?
I've only been quote-unquote running for like the last 4 to 5 years. Really never had a running background, so I don't really know much about running. I just did a lot of it. And now it's been super awesome, just to have someone who kind of tells me what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing, and, hold me back in some spots and then telling me when to push and kind of when to go hard and when to like I said, just hold back a little bit. And just to have that dialogue with someone else has just been super good. And I've actually learned a lot in these last few months. It's really good to have some guidance and to have someone that you can pick their brain about and know what to do moving forward.
Is it mainly about mileage, like don't run this many miles, or you have a race coming up, this is how many miles you need to be putting in, or is it form stuff like stand up straight, land on the balls of your feet, that kind of stuff?
I mean, yeah, he mainly just programmed like the mileage and, how I'm running, but with kind of every run, he's telling me to focus on different things. So it's kind of, it's a little bit of both. He's not really looking at, how I'm running unless I really ask him to, but yeah, he's kind of, maybe you should not run as much this day, add a little intensity here, things like that. I'm actually notoriously super bad at going for an intense run and like a tempo effort, but I'll easily go for a 3-hour run in the mountains, just taking it nice and easy, no problem. So I think that he's, helped add a little bit of intensity and, scale back my mileage a little bit. So I'm a little more fresh for some of those workouts. And I'm actually doing workouts for the first time, quote unquote workouts for the first time in my life that are structured. So, it's definitely something new and something to get used to. But I'm sure most people who have a running background would think it's super basic knowledge. But I've never had any kind of structure like that in my life for running. So, it's really nice to have.
I saw you've been doing a little bit of work with Merrill still, doing some, I don't know if they're appearances or just events that you do with them.
Yeah, I mean, my sponsorship with Merrill has, just been extending on through this year and next. So it's definitely, they've been hugely supportive of everything I've been doing. And, while I think that a lot of people associate Merrill with, Tough Mudder, just because that they don't have a partnership anymore, I've still stuck around and, definitely been appreciating the support that they've been throwing my way. And, it's been great. They're just a great group of people there. A lot of other inspiring athletes and ambassadors and things like that. So, it's been really cool to kind of venture into that whole outdoor world, and I'm starting to get a little more involved in all those things outside of OCR, which is really fun and exciting.
What shoes did you wear when you won World's Toughest last year?
I wore, the All Crest shoes. Kind of like similar to the ones that, Tough Mudder and Merrill branded together. But yeah, that's what I wore. It's a pretty minimal shoe to wear for 100 miles, but I couldn't feel my feet for the last, 12 hours, so I don't think it really mattered.
How many months did it take your toenails to recover after World's Toughest?
Ooh, well, I couldn't feel my toes for at least 2 months. My feet were black. It was pretty sweet. I got a nice case of the frostbite, which was awesome. But yeah, I still don't have full feeling in the tips of my toes, so I don't know if they're definitely. I don't think they're ever going to fully recover, but they have most of their feeling back, so that's always good. Definitely worth it.
We're talking 10 months after the race, and you still don't have feeling in the tips of your toes.
Yeah, just like the very tips of them. It really doesn't affect anything. I notice it when when I touch the end of my toe. So yeah, it's one of those things where I kind of figured it wouldn't come back, and it hasn't, and it's just part of life. But it's not debilitating in any way. So it is what it is.
Is it worth it? You got the win.
Oh heck yeah, it's worth it, 100%.
What are your plans for World's Toughest this year?
I don't know what my plans are. Don't know if I'm going to be there. Still haven't really decided. I know that the Spartan 24-hour race is super interesting. Especially it's in Sweden now. So I still haven't really made any decisions. I'm probably going to make a decision by the end of September. Got a couple of Spartan Ultras coming up, so I'm going to see how those go. And kind of make a decision after that. It's kind of weird. I've ran WTM the last 5 years since 2014, but I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing. There's been a lot of changes, so I'm kind of seeing what the best options are, for me. So yeah, kind of weird to consider something else, but also exciting at the same time.
Trevor Cichosz, who you passed on the last lap, he finished in second last year. He told me that he will be there and he is going to run 100 miles again.
Awesome. I think that's definitely more of a reason for me to go, because it'd be super fun to. Trevor and I are good friends, and it's always fun, to race against him and race against other competitors. So yeah, that's awesome. That's great to hear.
I think that would be a fun rematch. We haven't really had a one-on-one rematch like that since Ryan Atkins and John Young Pack in the first couple of years of World's Toughest were doing it.
Yeah, like I said, I would love to go race Trevor. It'd be a lot of fun. Atlanta's not the most appealing venue to me. There's a lot of things I think that a lot of changes that have happened that are less appealing to me about this race now. But I got a lot of, I would say, big goals in my future, and not necessarily, some are involving OCR and some not. So I'm kind of just taking a long-term approach on my training and my racing. So, it just kind of depends how all this fits into my schedule, and working and all that stuff. So there's definitely a lot more to consider, because this isn't really my full-time job, or not at all my full-time job. So I have to make sure I'm taking care of everything, every other part of my life too.
big goals as far as like business? So your new business goals or running goals? You're gonna run across?
No, I'm just just big running, just like outdoors goals and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff I do want to accomplish or just at least attempt. So there's a lot of different kind of races out there and things to do and that are really interesting to me. So it's just kind of I think in the last few years, my sights were always just on WTM, and that was it. And I think this past year, I've kind of seen a bunch of different other races out there that I want to compete in and try. And so I think that, being in Colorado where there's all these, different people who are just amazing athletes and they're good at so many different things, it's been really cool to kind of get my foot in the door and, like, see all these people attempt certain races and like do super well. So I think that it'll be interesting to see kind of where I can go. I think that, like I said, I've only been running for 4 to 5 years, so I feel like I have a lot of room to grow as an athlete, and so I think just chasing some of those dreams it's going to be pretty fun.
I wonder if part of that is, you won it last year. You can't do better than that ever. You can do more miles, but place-wise, you'll never, you won the race. And maybe you scratch that itch and you're ready to explore other things.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. It's like, I definitely, part of me thinks like I won. I definitely would want to go back if I don't this year at some point, because I do love the race. To be really honest, like, it's really hard for me when, Tough Mudder decides to take away, I know everyone, their first thought is, like, take away the prize money, but that doesn't really bother me because, like I said, it's not really my income. I think it's, like, the tone of the race. And from what I've heard, it doesn't really sound as much like, for instance, when I first heard about World's Toughest Mudder, it was, like, considered or, like, advertised, promoted as, like, the toughest race, like, on the planet type thing. And I think that the company, like Tough Mudder, has kind of starting to move away from that. And, I want to continue to keep challenging myself in different things. And so I don't want to go just for kind of like a picnic. And, some of like the strong relationships or like that I built with some of the people at Tough Mudder, well, they're all gone now. So, for instance, like Nolan and Eli are gone, and like I just love the courses they put together. And there's a lot of uncertainty going into this year. And so it's almost like, well, I don't know if I want to run it with so much uncertainty, being there. And, previous years, I knew the guys who were putting the race together, and I knew what they were going to bring, and it was going to be epic. And, I'm not 100% sure that it's going to be the same this year. I hope so, but, not sure.
You ran in 2017, right? The last year in Vegas?
2017, yes. I ran as a team.
I got kind of that vibe that year. That was the year they had the giant Mudderhorn the year before, and then they didn't have it the next year. Mm-hmm. And you get there, and you're kind of like, I totally get what you're saying. I feel like 2018 kind of rebounded from 2017.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying.
And for me, 2017 was a way different experience because I did the team category. And to be honest, like, I love my teammates. It was so much fun, but the relay is just not for me. I don't like starting and stopping. So it was like a completely different experience. So last year was super nice to get back out there and just run the full 24. Mm-hmm. Granted, we were also at a new venue, which is kind of cool.
So here's a thought. Rhea Kolbl, the women's champion, has told me she's taking this year off also. Maybe you both take a year off, and then you come back in 2020, guns blazing, and reclaim your titles.
Yeah, all cards are on the table. I know, I talked to Rhea a lot, and I know that she's, going full bore for Sweden. So, I think that for her, it's a super smart move. Yeah, I mean, this year we're in Atlanta. We have no idea what 2020 is going to be like. So,
You know what?
Maybe they'll change direction or decide that they want to put more attention and investment in this race. And great. But it's like I said, there's been so much change this year that it's hard to tell. I mean, granted, that's if the race continues. So.
That's what you guys do. You and Ray go to Sweden, and then you both win that. So you have your World's Toughest 2018, Sweden 2019, then I don't know, 2020.
Yeah. I don't know. It's there's so many races, so many different options of things to do, so it should be fun. But, yeah, she's out in Fiji now. She's doing that adventure with Atkins, so I'll talk to her in Tahoe when she gets back and is, I'm sure, adequately tired for once in her life.
So there are going to be a lot of elites that aren't there this year. So there will be a lot of guys that were kind of on that next tier. They're looking to, maybe for the first time ever, they think, you know what, I've got a chance to win this thing. What advice, as a former champion, what advice would you give someone that wants to win World's Toughest Mudder?
I mean, I think the biggest piece of advice is just be ready to hurt a lot. Because no matter what, it's gonna be a struggle out there, and you're gonna have to push. And there's gonna be times, whether you're in first place or second place, that you're gonna want to quit, and you just got to be ready to kind of face that fact and just be willing to push on. So, I mean, even for me last year, being in second place most of the race, I've very realistically considered quitting multiple times. So, you just got to be willing just to put everything out there, to hurt, and just, lay it all on the line.
Kris, you mentioned Merrill. Do you have any other sponsors you're working with?
Yeah, I'm also working with Ultimate Direction. They kind of make packs. That's probably the most common thing people see. So especially a World's Toughest Mudder or a long ultra, carrying hydration packs, things like that. And I also work with Goo Energy, so they, provide nutrition. They have Stroop waffles, Goos, Chews, and then actually they're coming out with a nut butter, peanut butter line as well this fall, I believe. So, yeah, I got the hydration, I got the gear, and I got the food. So, pretty set right now.
How can people follow you on social media?
Instagram, kdoza04, and I'm also on Facebook, just my name.
What's the 04? Were there 3 other K-Dozas?
Nope, I just really like the number 4. That's always been my number, so I don't know. I just kept it. It's not a graduation year, it's not the day a birthday, it's not. I just have always liked the number 4, so why not?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to show you something. I got a soundboard, and so now instead of having to put stuff in after the fact, I can do sound effects live while we talk. For example,
Christopher Mendoza.
How cool is that?
You should probably delete that soundboard. It sounds like trash.
You don't like the singer's voice?
Christopher Mendoza.
No, Keith Allen's trash. No one likes that guy. Is he even going to be at WTM this year? He wasn't even last year.
That is a good question. I don't think he was even in the city, was he? He pitted 2 years ago. I don't know if he was there.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, I know he wasn't there. He talks a lot of trash, and then he can't follow up with it, and he just leaves. He hides behind his little cold brew diva pictures.
Who is the?
I don't know if you've seen them, but
cold brew diva pictures. I have not seen those.
Oh, he's a cold brew diva. He gets his cold brew from the Dunkin' Donuts, and he takes stupid pictures with, I don't know, I guess his friends. They call themselves the cold brew divas. It's stupid. You hear that, Keith? You're stupid.
Where's in the rap battle saga? Who has fired the last shot, and when was that? When did that happen?
Ooh, I don't even know.
It's been a while, right?
I have no idea. I have no clue. I feel like I've been kind of off the grid, trying not to pay attention to a lot of that stuff. I've just been so busy with I did get to hang out with Matty a couple weeks ago, and he finished his cross-country run.
Matty Gregg.
So I was able to, to finish. I ran the last day with him, so that was super awesome. But that's the last time I've seen him, and then, so got to connect with him recently. I haven't seen Keith in a while, and I have no idea where we are in the rap battles, but I have no time for that at the moment.
Kris, do you have any last thoughts on World's Toughest Mudder or anything else?
No, I just, this is going to be a really fun fall season. Running a couple Spartan Ultras, and I'm excited to see kind of how the Spartan 24-hour and like WTM play out this year. Those are always like the big races, and I just love the long events, so it's always fun to follow.
Christopher Mendoza, thanks much.
Thank you, 5-star Will. 5 stars.
Special thanks to Kris Mendoza for appearing in this episode. Well done, Kris. Come back anytime. Also, special thanks to Keith Allen for his musical movie review intro. Keith recorded that for me a long time ago, and having Mendoza on the show is a good excuse to break it out. Kris Mendoza and Keith Allen not getting along with each other is good for OCR. So I hope one of them says something. I hope one of them insults the other and they get a good beef going. Don't forget to leave a review for the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Amazon, and be sure you are subscribed to the podcast so you get future episodes of Champions Week straight to your phone as soon as they go live. Champions Week continues tomorrow with Stephanie Bishop. Go spend time with someone you love.